Hey, strangers. Welcome to another episode of the Strange Sessions. I am Kurt, and as usual, with me is my co-host, my sister from another mister, Krista.
What's up, Kurt?
Nothing. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I feel like we should have been recording the last 20 minutes when we were talking about various things.
We need to stop having witty conversations off mic.
Except it would have been a lot of us chewing Pop-Tarts and Raisinets
and beef jerky.
And beef jerky. Yeah, we're not the healthiest podcast.
Hey, that's all protein, except for the Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. Pop-Tarts are so high in calories. You don't think about
but
that.
We split it.
We
so
did
it's
split
okay.
it, and it was s'mores Pop-Tarts,
yes,
so you can't go wrong.
S'mores. It was delicious.
So what's new in Krista world?
Oh, I don't know. Just been listening to some podcasts. You want to talk about some
Sure.
podcasts? So I just finished the second to the last episode of Heaven's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting. I mean, I think we've all heard about these cults.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend people who like listening to a podcast that tells a story throughout the whole season rather than switching from topic to topic. I really enjoy podcasts like that. And this one is narrated by the same guy who did Spooked. It's a Wondery podcast. They have a whole, I can't think of his name right now, but it's really interesting because the host actually belonged to a religious cult when he was a kid. So
Really?
they interview him in an episode. Yeah. And kind of related to that, my husband and I just watched.
I thought you were going to say my husband and I just joined a cult.
Signed a bajillion-year contract. No, we were watching, I don't remember if it was on A&E, but it was about the Branch Davidians, the David Koresh thing. It was a 2-part special, and that was captivating. I mean, it was so sad and really interesting. And now there's one about Jonestown coming on. Clearly, I have a fascination with cults.
I've been binging on the Sofa King podcast, like I talk about, and I just listened to the one about the Manson family murders. And so, I mean, that stuff is...
And he just passed away.
He did.
Was it at the end of 2017?
Yeah.
It's like he felt the evil leave the earth.
It's just weird with him because I don't know if I think he's evil. He's just...
Or crazy.
Well, crazy, yeah. But, like, I didn't realize that he started, I don't remember the name of it, but he started some environmental group that, like, protects the environment, protects animals and all that stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I knew he was like a fledgling musician and rock star, and they stalked one of the Beatles or something.
The Beach Boys. One of the Beach Boys.
That's what it was.
Because one of them took his... He had a song called Never Learn Not to Love.
Okay. Who? Charles Manson did?
That the Beatles stole. Or not the Beatles. That...
I got that in your head now.
Yeah, you got that in my head. The Beach Boys stole
other Beatles,
and recorded it. So I think
Boys.
he was pissed at them about that. But, there's a line between pissed and...
At least they didn't get stabbed to death.
Exactly. So yeah, I've just been binging on the Sofa King podcast. That's really all I've been listening to lately.
Yeah, I go through phases where I like Sword and Scale. I'm always into that. And it's a different topic each episode. But I do love podcasts that... like Dirty John or Serial, that really S-Town.
I never heard of Dirty John.
Oh, it's so good. It's a true crime one.
Oh.
There's actually going to be now a TV special on it. So
cool. I've laid off the true crime stuff lately because it just got too depressing.
It's very depressing.
Yeah.
And
I used to have Investigation Discovery on nonstop in my apartment. Now it just got to the point where I actually think it was depressing me. So
it makes you really paranoid.
Yeah, it does.
Like Kurt just showed me this mace that he got a really good deal on. I'm like, maybe I should buy some
they had
mace.
pepper spray at Walmart for $1, so I bought 2 of them because I have friends that walk out to their car and it's a long walk from the factory to your car and they're kind of freaked about it. And it was only like $1.
Yeah.
So it's probably expired, and if they need it, it
Or
probably just doesn't. Yeah. Or it's actually accidentally got
Sprays
Banaka
backwards.
in it. Yeah. So it was a little sketchy that it was only $1, but hey.
Yeah. Another show that we get sucked into, we call it like, what did you do last weekend? Live PD. Have you run across Live PD?
I can't get into Live PD. I don't know what it is.
Well, you're lucky because you're watching it for 5 minutes and 5 hours later, you're still watching Live PD. And it's actually quite depressing.
I've been binge watching the show The Americans like crazy because not this weekend, but the weekend after, except for people listening to the podcast, it will be this weekend, is the trivia contest, that 50-hour trivia contest I do every year. It's run from KVSC, a college station in Minnesota, I believe in St. Cloud.
Cool.
So the theme for the contest this year is spying and espionage. And I know there's going to be questions about the Americans.
Ooh.
And it is seriously one of the best shows.
Did you send something out on Facebook? Like, they sent you pictures, right?
Yeah, they send
okay.
They give us like 20 images that they're going to ask questions about during the contest, and you have to figure out where they come from.
They're like super
and
random
they're super
weird.
hard, and they're super random. The questions they even ask, it's not so much trivia. It's like, how fast can you Google this insanely minute detail?
Right. It's like deep cuts.
Yeah. You know, like they'll say, Detective Joe Smith in this 1959 movie finds a hidden staircase behind a tombstone in a cemetery. What name is on the tombstone? And you have like, yeah, that's like seriously all you get, and you have like 10 minutes to answer this.
How are you going to find that?
We actually found that one. You Google Detective Joe Smith and then 1959, and then you usually find the name of the movie, and those are usually on YouTube.
Sure.
So then you got to quickly
clip.
scan through the entire movie looking for a part where he's in the cemetery. We got that one.
Wow.
Yeah. So I spend a whole weekend doing that.
So do you have friends that you do this in person with?
Yeah, I have friends. Most of them are together in somebody's apartment in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And
you're just on the phone or Skype or something?
We use a app called Slack. That's like one of those group collaboration apps where you can all chat with each other.
Yeah.
So we're doing that, and I'm listening to it on headphones and stuff. So yeah,
crazy.
It goes from 5 o'clock on Friday till 7 o'clock on Sunday.
Wow.
So yeah,
got like 5 Papa Murphys.
Oh
lined
god,
up.
lots of pizza, lots of pizza. I used to get a lot of rum shada.
Oh god,
I put that in my coffee. Except I get up for this thing at 3:45 in the morning.
Wow.
And I had my coffee one Sunday morning for the contest, and I got up to go to the bathroom at 4:30, and I was like stumbly drunk from a little too much rum shada. And so if you're drunk at 4:30 in the morning from your coffee, maybe cut back on the rum shada.
Were they questioning your answers at some point? Like,
no, I actually think I did better.
Why does Kurt keep texting boobs for all the answers?
I would not do that. Do you have any shout-outs for anybody?
I don't know. I don't think so. Do you?
I want to give a shout-out to... There's this app that I've been using lately called...
You're giving a shout-out to an app?
Well, the people on the app. I think it's called Habitica.
Okay.
It's basically a to-do list app where you create a character on it, and it looks like a vintage retro Super Nintendo Final Fantasy character where you make this little character, and you put a to-do list, like things you do every day, things you have to do in the future, and every time you check one off, your guy gets experience and gold, and you can buy pets and stuff.
Okay.
And I joined up with a party on there because you can go on and fight big bosses where if you get all your stuff checked off for that day, you'll do damage to the boss, but if you don't, everybody in the party gets damage.
Oh.
Yeah. So it really makes
risk.
it really makes you make sure you get the stuff done you want to get done.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah. So I just joined a party on there, and they were asking, I wrote something in my description about doing a podcast, so they asked what it was, so they all said they're going to check it out.
Nice.
So hi guys, I just want to say hi to my party on Habitica.
What's up?
And
Habitica
that's my shout out.
Sweet. You just reminded me, you watch Stranger Things, right?
Yes.
Did you know there's a video game?
No.
On your phone?
No.
And it is like,
is it like a
me
retro?
Of like Zelda.
Yeah. That's
It
awesome.
is so fun. I'm
That's
really
awesome.
into it right now. And it's free. Totally free.
I will have to check
it
that out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, what else do we have?
Do we have any housekeeping? I don't think so. We got a lot of people liked our last episode about the missing 411 stuff. Everybody seems to like that.
Yeah. Sherry, my coworker, wishes we'd pick a story and really focus in on it, but we're limited as to what kind of information we can find.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot about this stuff out there.
Mm-hmm. It's all kind of vague.
Yeah, except some of the more well-known ones, but I think we covered some of the more well-known ones in the first episode.
Do you think that we could get into trouble if we had his books and we're just reading
Probably.
stories out of his
Probably.
books? Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that.
I don't know if we have a big enough listener base that it would get back to him. Come here and be on the podcast.
Okay, that works. We're trying to figure out Skype for my work podcast, so maybe we'll get that.
Yeah, once we get Skype going, we're going to be hitting up some of our listeners to have a little Skype session with us.
Yeah.
that was a now what
really
look that we just gave each other.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I can't think of any housekeeping really. I feel like we always have housekeeping, but I don't write it down. You know?
Yeah.
I think of things throughout the week, or I see something that relates to something we talked about, and I'm not,
We're coming up with some things that we kind of want to do in the very near future. One thing that I talked to Krista about is there's an app or a website, I can't remember what it's called, but I can put it on Facebook and people can ask us anonymous questions that if they want us to answer on air, they don't have to say who they are. You can ask whatever you want. So
Come on, let your freak flag fly.
Yeah, ask whatever you want within reason because we don't want to have to mark these as explicit.
Right.
But we'll get that up and then you can ask something and we will answer it on the air.
Maybe.
And then maybe.
It depends on what you ask.
Depends on if you're polite. But there's other stuff that we got in the works.
Yeah. I still would like to get a voicemail that people can call and tell stories or ask questions, things like that.
I'll just put your phone number on the Facebook group and
I don't answer
late
unknown
night drunken
numbers.
phone calls.
So yeah. That's fine. I'll add it to the, I don't know, do not call list or something.
Is there anything in the news that you want to discuss?
I don't know. Have we ever talked about the Slender Man?
Oh,
thing
yeah,
on here?
that the girl just got sentenced like 40 years.
Yeah, one of them got 40 years.
I
think the other one is in process right now, but I'm not sure.
I think I don't remember if it was in our strangers group or in our main group, but somebody posted something about that, and I said, I just feel bad for her. And I don't know, is that appropriate?
One of them has schizophrenia.
Yeah, I mean, is it appropriate that I feel bad? She's obviously
clearly
messed
disturbed.
up, so I guess I just feel sorry.
What's interesting is that I thought when this story first came out that they both did the stabbing, and what I keep hearing on the news is actually one of them was more of the aggressor, and I think she's the one that got the 40 years. I think the other one
is that Morgan Geyser.
I'm not sure. I feel like I should know that.
I think she was.
It's a local story, but the one that wasn't as aggressive as the other. I think she was originally sentenced to like 3 years in some kind of hospital for people with mental problems. I'm trying so hard to sound politically correct, and I can't come up with all the terms I should be using. But that apparently was not her final sentencing, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening there. But if it's just crazy.
The X-Files, I don't think it was last week, so I think it was the week before, kind of spun off on the Slender Man thing where two teenage girls stabbed each other thinking the other one was a fictional creepypasta monster.
It's interesting how shows just grab headlines like that and make episodes out of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy that was local, though. I just saw something on, we get Milwaukee stations for our news stations where I live, and there apparently is a annual Jeffrey Dahmer tour in Milwaukee that takes place. Those of you know Jeffrey Dahmer, serial killer. I totally believe it. Right. People are wearing T-shirts and stuff. And there are still people who are friends and family of the victims who are protesting. I understand the
fascination with that.
Sure.
And maybe doing a tour.
Yeah.
Just not wearing.
It's not like a ghost tour.
No.
People were murdered,
and eaten,
dismembered,
and
oh Lord.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so, I don't know.
Those are the current headlines from Wisconsin, people.
We got lots of weird
Slender
stuff
Man
up
murders, serial killers.
Yeah, you gotta love Wisconsin.
Yep.
Ed Gein, he was a big Wisconsin guy. I do love Wisconsin,
though. It's beautiful here.
I do too. I got a news story that actually leads into today's topic.
A news story?
A news story from, I think, this past week.
All right.
It involves the rocket enthusiast, limo driver, and stuntman Mike Hughes.
Okay, this is the guy who built his own rocket, right?
He built his own rocket.
This has been in the news quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. I'm ready.
His first homemade rocket launch took place in 2014. He flew up 1,374 feet, and soon after that, he became a member of the Flat Earth Society.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So shortly thereafter that, he began making a rocket which would fly 1,800 feet up into the sky. The launch was intended to happen in November 2017, but that particular launch wouldn't prove whether or not our planet is flat or round, because he would need to get up to 35,000 feet in order to be able to see Earth's curvature. But he figured that would give him enough publicity that he was going to GoFundMe a new multi-million-dollar campaign in order to get him high enough to take a photo of the Earth.
I'm sure B.O.B. will support him.
We're going to discuss B.O.B. Because he wanted to get up high enough to take a picture to prove to people that the Earth really was flat and that his society was right all along.
Lord. So did he go into this building the rocket from the start with the intention?
That I don't know, because all it said was that right after that, he became a member of the Flat Earth Society.
So once he got up there, he potentially saw evidence
Possibly.
I'm using air quotes.
Yeah.
Evidence.
Big air quotes. But right before the November launch, the government intervened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound safe or...
Well, no, it was because...
Does he have a permit for this?
You know, once people heard, the government intervened, they don't want them to find out that the Earth is flat. But
Not that it's incredibly dangerous and probably illegal.
Well, the reason that the government intervened was that the Bureau of Land Management found out that he planned to crash the rocket into public land.
Well...
Which, that's usually a no-no.
Yeah.
So he ended up calculating a different trajectory that wouldn't encounter a conflict with the government. And he moved the launch date to February 3rd, which was just recently. But that day they had
last week.
They had a live stream of the rocket, launch and all that, but nothing happened. It got scrubbed, and he claimed that the failure most likely resulted from a faulty plunger or a blown O-ring.
Plunger, huh?
A faulty plunger. I'm pretty sure I had Taco Bell once where I had a blown O-ring and a faulty plunger after.
Oh, my God.
So...
that'll put a stop to your plans real quick.
Yeah, well. So, yeah, it got scrubbed, but he says he plans on still doing it. Okay. So if he's going to get his multi-million dollars in his GoFundMe, we'll see.
Didn't one of the, maybe this is the first time, but it didn't go as planned. Like didn't he take off and kind of crash right away?
That might have been one of the earlier ones, but I don't know.
That's what I remember seeing in the news.
I just remember seeing, because I saw news stories on, like TV, like on Good Day Wisconsin and stuff about this, that he wanted to get this rocket up there, but
good luck, buddy. No-go. Try not to kill anybody in the process.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like that have that crash land in public land, but whatever. So that's still going to be coming sometime in the near future.
All right, so, we'll stay tuned.
So good luck, Mike, with that. Let us know how it goes. We'll have you on the show.
That's probably somebody we could get on the show.
That's probably somebody we could get on the show. We need to start a GoFundMe.
Right?
Just $1 million. That's all we need.
Yeah, that's all.
But now we'll get into the history of the flat/round Earth.
Yeah, so if you haven't guessed yet, today's
topic is the Flat Earth conspiracy.
All right.
Which has been in the news
in the last few years.
Yeah. But here's a little history. We're going to drop a little history on you guys. History is not my strong suit.
To quote the Beastie Boys, dropping science like Galileo dropped the orange.
Wow.
We're going to drop some history.
Wow. Pulling out with the Beasties. That's impressive.
Big fan. Go on.
So here's some history for you guys.
Okay.
The idea of the Earth being spherical actually goes back farther than most people realize. Around 500 BC, the Greek philosopher Pythagoras is believed to have been the first person to propose the idea that the Earth was round rather than flat. I had never known that.
No.
I knew all about his theorem, but never knew that he was the first person to propose the idea that the Earth was round. He had been observing the moon and noticed that the line between the part of the moon in the light and the part of the moon in the dark appeared curved. Because of that, he felt that the moon was spherical, and if the moon was round, the Earth should be round as well. The Greeks at this time felt that a sphere was a perfect shape, so it was only right that the Earth was a sphere too. Then around 430 BC, the Greek philosopher Anaxagoras postulated that a lunar eclipse might be the shadow of the Earth against the moon, further adding to the belief that the Earth may indeed be round. Then, in 350 BC, the Greek philosopher Aristotle used the movement of the constellations and the observations made by Pythagoras and Anaxagoras to finally declare that the Earth was, in fact, round.
Okay.
Okay, now this next part shows you how bad I am at history. Most people think that Christopher Columbus made his 1492 voyage in part to prove that the Earth was round, but that was a myth perpetuated by Washington Irving's 1828 book called The Life and Voyages of Christopher Columbus. If anybody would have asked me before I read that why Columbus made his trip, I would have said to prove that the Earth was round.
Well, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Me too.
No, and then according to historian Jeffrey Burton Russell, quote, no educated person in the history of Western civilization from the 3rd century BC onward believed that the Earth was flat. So Columbus, yeah, I did not know that. I always assumed that Columbus, that was one of the reasons that he did the trip, was to prove that the Earth was round.
And
but
they
knew it was round. I mean, it wasn't even a question that.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so I never knew that. So
is that the Mandela effect happening?
That might be, because I swear to God, I mean, I thought it was like in a Schoolhouse Rock thing that that he did that. So yeah, so Columbus did not, in fact, make his trip to prove that the Earth was round. Okay. So yeah.
Learning stuff all the time.
Yes, that is some history, some brief history on, going way back, the flat/round Earth theory. Now, as we near the modern era, the idea that the Earth was actually flat came to the forefront in 1849 when English writer Samuel Rowbotham wrote a pamphlet called Zetetic Astronomy that argued for a flat Earth. And it was shortly followed up by a second pamphlet called The Inconsistency of Modern Astronomy and Its Opposition to the Scripture. So he could have used somebody to punch up that title, maybe.
Sounds like Scientology. Keep going.
It does sound like Scientology. In 1883, he founded the Zetetic Societies in England and New York. His pamphlets and organization attracted many members that continued to spread the flat earth gospel. After Rowbotham's death, Lady Elizabeth Blount created the Universal Zetetic Society in 1893 in England. And as far as local ties and a Wisconsin shout-out, Wilbur Glenn Voliva, the head of a Pentecostal sect that established a utopian community in Zion, Illinois, preached flat earth doctrine from 1915 onwards. He used a photograph of a 12-mile stretch of the shoreline of Lake Winnebago, Wisconsin, to prove his point that there was no curvature and that the earth was flat.
Why would a picture of the shoreline prove
Because he took it at a low angle, and it showed that you could see off in the distance enough that he thought that if the earth was curved, you wouldn't be able to see off in the distance that far. So he used that photo of Lake Winnebago to prove.
It's weird logic.
Yeah, it is.
I don't get it, but go on.
Okay, and he would use this picture to convince people that the earth was flat. He also said when the airship Italia disappeared on an expedition to the North Pole in 1928, he told the world's press it had disappeared because it had accidentally sailed over the edge of the world. So Krista just dropped her head back and gave a big sigh.
Complete exasperation.
So he said it just went right over the edge, and that's why it disappeared.
Maybe that's where all the missing 411 people went, over the edge.
Good callback. It's very possible. This brings us to 1956, when Samuel Shenton set up the International Flat Earth Research Society, better known as the Flat Earth Society, from Dover, UK, as a direct descendant of the Universal Zetetic Society. When satellite images showed Earth as a sphere, Shenton remarked, quote, "It's easy to see how a photograph like that could fool the untrained eye," end quote.
What photograph was he referring to?
Earth as a sphere. A picture of Earth as a sphere. And he said it's easy to see how a photograph like that could fool the untrained eye. And
what did this guy do for a living?
He ran the Flat Earth Society. I don't know.
Okay. It wasn't like a trained or educated scientist or anything?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm going to go with no on that one.
The untrained eye. All right.
Well, he had a trained eye, so he could see past that crap.
It was well trained. Yeah. Okay.
Shenton died in 1971, after which Charles K. Johnson became the next president of the Flat Earth Society. Johnson's beliefs were based on the Bible, and he saw scientists as pulling a hoax that would replace religion with science. Over the next 3 decades, under his leadership, the Flat Earth Society grew to a reported 3,500 members. Membership began to decline after a fire at Johnson's house destroyed all of the records and contacts of the members in the society. I think the government torched it because he was getting too close.
Or that's like...
Yeah.
They're like fair-weathered friends, Yeah. Oh, everything burned down. I'm out. I'll fine. We'll go to Scientology instead.
If you have a big society like that, put your stuff in a fireproof box.
Well, I feel like they just died off because they lost their contact information.
Yes. Well, they didn't have like Snapchat and Facebook Messenger and stuff.
True. They only had telephones. Moving on. Yes.
Johnson's wife, who helped manage the membership database, died, and Johnson himself died on March 19th, 2001. In 2004, Daniel Shenton resurrected the Flat Earth Society, basing it around a web discussion group. This eventually led to the official relaunch of the society in October 2009 and the creation of a new website featuring a public collection of flat Earth literature and a wiki.
Okay,
Yeah.
a Wikipedia page?
Yeah, so now it's official.
Is that the cool slang for Wikipedia?
Yeah, that's what the hipsters like me say. Wiki. Let me check the wiki.
Okay.
Moreover, the society began accepting new members for the first time since 2001, with musician Thomas Dolby becoming the first member to join the newly reconvened society.
I think somebody should create a Wikipedia page for the Strange Sessions.
We should.
No, not us.
Someone
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys get on that. We would appreciate it.
Yeah. Embellish all you want.
So Thomas Dolby was the first one to join the newly reconvened society. Thomas Dolby's the one that did She Blinded Me with Science back in the 80s.
She blinded
Yeah,
me with science.
exactly.
Okay.
That one. He later said that it was a joke, that he doesn't believe it, but he wanted to join the group. Its membership has grown by 200 people, mostly Americans. I know. It's not so many listeners we have. Mostly Americans.
We're lucky if we have 200.
Mostly Americans and Brits. Well, no, it has grown by 200 people, mostly Americans and Brits, per year since 2009.
That's not that much.
So that's still not that much. In the last few years, celebrities began to support the cause, getting its name and beliefs out there more into the public eye.
Oh, good.
So now we get into the celebrity stuff. And at this point, we're going to take a break because we have our random weird product to try.
Can't wait.
And this is legit the first time that I am scared trying something.
Great. And he liked our drink last week.
I liked the drink last week.
And
I
he's
was cool with
scared
cool
now.
with the nasty ass jelly beans.
Okay.
So
Should I do some kind of music?
Tonight we should have spooky music. First of all, do you know what kombucha is?
Yes, I do know what kombucha is.
Kombucha is like
and I don't like it.
Oh boy. Kombucha is like a fermented beverage that has like live cultures in it.
It's a probiotic.
And I've had ones that are like blueberry and raspberry and they still taste
They're carbonated too,
they
right?
taste like they were filtered through a gym sock.
Yeah.
So they're not good.
I have a friend who makes it.
So tonight we are going to try spicy Korean kimchi
and kombucha.
Kombucha.
And kimchi is also fermented. It's very popular in Asian food.
So we are trying...
Isn't it prebiotics too? I think fermented...
This one just says probiotic.
Okay.
But it is spicy Korean kimchi live shots.
It's all the rage in the health food world.
Yeah. So this is what we are going to try.
I'm literally a little scared.
I am scared because
I don't like things that are carbonated, and the only kombucha I ever tried tasted carbonated.
They usually
I feel
are,
like
but
if
they
it
have
were
like
flat,
a funky yeasty because I think it's made with yeast. I think there's a lot of yeast in it. But when you couple that with spicy Korean kimchi. No, the thing is I love sauerkraut.
Me too. I love that kind of food.
Kimchi is basically fermented cabbage, which is kind of what sauerkraut is.
And there's other vegetables in there too, I think.
Yeah, some people are about sauerkraut.
I love it.
I remember a little side story here that years ago I was with some friends watching an episode of The Amazing Race.
Okay.
Where it's like a reality show where they do challenges and stuff. And one of the challenges was that they had to eat a plate of sauerkraut and drink a big stein of beer. And we're looking at each other like...
Easy peasy. I'm German, baby. I can do that.
That's not a challenge. That's breakfast. So I'm hoping... When I used to work at the grocery store, we actually had sauerkraut juice in cans, and I used to drink it on break because
I wouldn't do.
I love sauerkraut, unless it has caraway seeds in it.
Were you very regular at the time?
I probably was. I don't really have a journal.
Probiotics are good for digestion.
Yeah, they are.
And the flora in your guts.
But I love sauerkraut, so I'm keeping an open mind that the spicy Korean kimchi kombucha.
Kurt promised he won't pour me a big glass because I'm not going to be polite this time.
Do we want to smell it?
Sure, let's smell it first.
Do you want to smell it out of the...
Let it breathe a little. Maybe it's like a fine wine.
I got a feeling this
made
is going
with
to be
yeast.
nothing like a fine wine.
No.
I should probably shake it up so we get the full funk.
The sediment at the bottom. the
sentiment at the bottom.
I'm going to shake up my...
If that
look on your face right now.
If that just taking the cap off, maybe that was just some random smell that wafted through.
Oh, sure. In this closed room in this school in the middle of winter.
Oh boy.
I'll be prepared with my apple cider vinegar. Oh, it looks like carrot juice.
It does look like carrot juice.
It looks like a medicine bottle. That's a lot.
I'm going to do a shot. This is yours.
You're just going to slam it? Which one's mine? The one
This
you're
one.
pouring now? Okay. Can you at least read the health stuff on the back? Like, how many vitamins are in this thing?
Natural probiotics from wild fermentation. Delivering nutrition and probiotics the way Mother Nature intended. Made only from real whole...
she?
I don't know. Oh, I can kind of smell this. Made only from real whole ingredients like fresh vegetables without added sweeteners, lab cultures, or extracted flavors. Wild fermented below 70 degrees and shelved refrigerated, retaining the raw probiotic nutrition. Savor 1 to 2 shots a couple times a day for maximum benefits. I don't think there's going to be any savoring.
No. It's a
It's
cute
got
bottle.
It's got a lot of sodium, but other than that, there's like... No.
The bottle's adorable. Looks like a little shorty.
Okay.
Okay.
You going to put a picture of this on our Instagram?
It's totally... Yeah, I'll take a picture. Oh, I just got a whiff. It smells like... It smells like tomato juice.
It smells like tomato juice. It smells like spicy tomato juice.
Like, yeah.
It smells like tomato juice mixed with...
Salsa-ish.
Yeah, it smells like salsa. Like salsa water.
Okay, I'm taking...
I honestly don't think it smells that bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought about the drink last week.
Good point. You ready?
Okay, down the hatch. It's not terrible.
No, it's really... Ooh, it is kind of spicy.
It's sort of like a V8 with a kick.
Yeah.
And a little funky background.
It's like a...
It tastes vegetable-y.
It does taste... It tastes like a watered down V8 mixed with...
Cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper.
I taste the sauerkraut type flavor, though. I can taste the fermented vegetables.
Okay, that's really not
It's
that
not
bad.
bad.
Oh, ooh. It's got a little bit of a...
Well, there's like chunks at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, it's strong.
It does kick... It kicks you in the ass a little bit after.
Oh, you got to take a picture of the bottle. Can I have the bottle?
Oh. You want more?
I hope this... No.
We'll let that for Jeff and Joe. Suck it up, guys.
It's actually not that bad, though. It's better than last week.
It's actually really not that bad. I could do without the spice.
I like spice, though.
But it does taste like...
It's actually not bad.
No, like you said, it tastes
the
like...
aftertaste is good.
It tastes like V8 cut with salsa juice. That's exactly what it tastes like. With
pickle juice, even.
Yeah, pickle juice. There's a little pickle juice in there.
Totally taste pickle juice.
Yeah.
This would be good in a Bloody Mary.
That would be good on a blend. And healthy. Maybe we'll have Bloody Marys next time.
It's growing on me.
So yeah, this isn't bad.
Okay, we'll post a picture of this
I am pleasantly surprised.
on the Instagram account. If you're interested in getting this,
What would you give that?
I
On a
I'd give it
scale
like
of 1 to 10.
7.
I'm going to give it a 7 too.
Yeah.
It's actually really not.
I might have a little more.
I
We'll see.
couldn't. I might pass that over here.
This might do battle in my stomach with this apple cider vinegar drink I'm drinking, though.
I think, yeah, you
gonna
might
burn
have.
a
You might have.
hole
I was gonna say
through
you
my
might have a
stomach.
burnt or a blown out O-ring and a faulty plunger later.
Oh, goodness. Good times on the Strange Sessions.
Wow. Okay, that is not
I
bad.
think we're passing around the hooch.
And I was scared of this. It's the
Do you
stuff
want
that
the
we.
last bit?
Sure, I'll get the.
I'd swirl it around the way.
I'll get the chunks. Ooh, look at that! Look at that sludge pour out of there. It's going to be the thing that we're going to be like, this isn't going to be bad. This is actually going to be good. That
I'll
we're
have
gonna-
to pull
that
over
we're
on the
gonna-
way home.
We're going to gag on.
Okay.
So yeah, this is not bad,
All right.
guys.
I kind of recommend it. It's weird when you're drinking it, but the aftertaste is really good.
Yeah, that is.
It's strange.
Make my nose run. It is spicier than I expected.
My throat's burning a little. Okay.
Oh,
You got the chunky.
oh, I got the chunky.
Those are chunky sip.
Ooh,
All right.
okay.
We're going to have excellent digestion tomorrow.
All right.
There's a half drink bottle of water there.
Oh, I have my Bliss.
Oh, okay,
Reduced
good.
stress. That was actually not
Yeah,
bad.
I'm
it really
impressed.
wasn't.
We were terrified.
I would willingly drink that again.
Yeah, I would. All right.
All right, now we get into the celebrity portion of the flat Earth
Oh, good.
stuff. I'm trying to stay open-minded on this.
Neutral.
Yeah, we will.
I'm
we
sorry, but
realize
when
that some of our
Tila
listeners
Tequila comes up, it's kind of like...
and that's the thing. I ragged on Tila Tequila when I did our little teaser for this episode, but I got that same thing with her that I got with Paris Hilton, where I actually like them because I kind of feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
You know,
They're really nice
I think I talked
people,
about this. I
probably.
think I talked about this on a podcast in the past that I actually really like Paris Hilton. I think she's smarter and I think she's nicer than some people give her credit
probably,
for.
yeah.
But I feel like
People hate her.
I
just
feel like
'cause-
years ago she realized that her position in life is to like be the jester, to be like the fool that people laugh
Well,
at.
after
And I
the
think
show her and Nicole Richie had, that didn't
but I
help.
think they played up their dumbness on
right,
her.
because Nicole Richie is totally different
But
now.
you know, I like Paris Hilton. I have like weird recurring dreams where her and I are trying to get away from serial killers. I don't know why,
Okay.
but I kind of have the same thing with Tila Tequila.
Do you need to go lay down on that couch over there and talk about this?
Maybe
for
that's the kimchi shots talking, but Tila Tequila is a hot mess. She's the kind of hot mess that other hot messes look at and they're like, damn.
Hasn't she been on a reality show too? Wow. You
Yeah.
take a drink and stuff just like
Yeah,
your
I saw-
face
I
does
saw
involuntary
I saw your
things.
eyes twitch a little bit on that one.
I even just taste like lemon.
There's like lemon, there's pickle juice, and there's salsa. It's like
I feel like we could make kimchi without going through the whole fermentation process.
yeah, just mix up a bunch of stuff.
And B.O.B., of course. Okay, let's get into this.
All right. Some celebrities that support this cause include Tila Tequila, NBA star Kyrie Irving, rapper B.O.B., and supposedly Shaquille O'Neal.
I've heard that too.
Kyrie Irving has said, "This is not even a conspiracy theory. It's right in front of our faces. I'm telling you, right in front of our faces. They lie to us. If you really think about it from the landscape of the way we travel, the way we move, and the fact that, can you really think of us rotating around the sun and all planets aligned, rotating at specific dates, being perpendicular with what's going on in these planets?" I have no idea. I need a flowchart.
So what does he think is happening?
I don't know.
All these planets are just
But
chill?
yeah, that's what he says. And then he says, the truth is right there. You just got to go searching for it.
How does he explain gravity?
I don't know. I don't know. Shaquille O'Neal said, and he's quoted on a podcast as saying, "I drive from Florida to California all the time, and it's flat to me. I do not go up and down at a 360-degree angle and all that stuff about gravity. Have you looked outside Atlanta lately and seen all these buildings? You mean to tell me that China is under us? China is under us? It's not. The world is flat." A few days later, though, Shaq stated, "I'm joking, you idiots."
Oh God, I hope
So,
so.
but some people think that he got so much crap for saying that he kind of...
just kidding, guys.
Yeah, just kidding, guys. Rapper B.O.B. is one of the biggest
Yeah, he got into a
proponents
huge
of this.
Twitter battle.
B.O.B. and Neil deGrasse Tyson squared off on Twitter about it and even had a rap battle complete with diss tracks.
Oh Lord.
And you wonder why aliens don't want to talk to us.
You don't want to take on Neil
No.
deGrasse Tyson?
Neil Tyson. Neil
Damn
deGrasse
it,
Tyson. No, you had it, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I think I say it
Did
wrong.
I say Neil Tyson deGrasse?
I think you did the
I
first
did.
time.
But I'm drunk.
dude is a-
I'm drunk on kimchi juice.
The dude is a genius.
Yeah, he is.
He has a really cool voice. I've watched a few shows that he's like, hosted or narrated or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's fascinating to listen
He reminds
to.
me of, do you ever watch the Cleveland show?
Yeah.
He's totally
Yeah.
Cleveland Brown.
Yep. But yeah, they had a rap battle. They had diss tracks. And finally, deGrasse finally said, "Flat Earth is a problem only when people in charge think that way. No law stops you from regressively basking in it." And
For
his
B.O.B.
last tweet to B.O.B. was, "Dude, to be clear, being 5 centuries regressed in your reasoning doesn't mean we all can't still like your music." So
He does have one really good song that Haley Williams sings on Airplane. I love Haley Williams
I
from
didn't know that she
Paramore.
sings on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I want to like him because of that, but
But B.O.B. is attempting to crowdfund his own rocket launch to carry a camera into space and
Are
to
you
look for
serious?
the curvature of the Earth.
so all the photos that NASA astronauts
Well, we'll get into
have
that.
taken.
We'll get
Okay.
into that.
Okay.
2 months after his fundraiser was posted, B.O.B. had reached $7,000 of his $1 million goal, the first 1,000 of which he donated himself. So he's not really lighting the world on fire with his,
He must not be
I don't know.
as
I don't
rich
know.
as all rappers claim to be.
But he is the one that is really pushing for this.
Okay. Why doesn't he just strap onto the back of Mike's rocket?
Yeah, he could maybe hitch a ride with him. I just said, yeah. I just went totally Wisconsin there. Wow.
Yeah.
Now we get to Tila Tequila. If you don't know who she is, she was like a MySpace celebrity, and she had
She had a reality show.
There's rumors
some
that
point.
she has done porn. I have not exhaustively researced that.
A little bit, though.
I maybe looked into it. I looked
into
into a little bit. I might look into a little bit again when I get home tonight.
She has.
So these are some of Tila Tequila's tweets.
Oh, can't wait. These are going
I
to be mind-boggling.
got a list of these.
Okay.
It's 2016 and nobody's been able to prove to me that the Earth is round. Where is the curvature in the horizon? Prove me wrong, damn it. Next one. Why are all the buildings in New York City standing straight up? If Earth was round, then some of the buildings should have a slight tilt.
Don't they understand the massive circumference?
Go to the next one. We're going to the next one. If the Earth was a spinning globe, then how come airplanes can land without crashing? So there's that. The next one, and this is the one. This is the one that I'm like, what?
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
If Earth was a spinning globe and the sun is supposedly 150 million light years away, then how come the sun rays beam straight down?
These people are walking the Earth alongside of us.
And they have TV shows and they have more money than we do.
You know what they're picturing? And this reminds me of Schoolhouse Rock. I can see a picture, like a cartoon of the planet Earth and like skyscrapers.
Yes.
Like from like Tokyo and New York and Chicago. And they're kind of,
Yes.
she's looking at that. And that's her reference of this is what the Earth should look like if it were curved.
But seriously, if the sun was that far away, how come the sun rays beam straight down? Think about that one, folks.
Oh, wow. It's profound.
Next one. If the Earth was a spinning globe, then how come the North Pole is always seen in the same spot?
What?
I don't get that at all.
Where is she getting this
I don't know.
from?
I don't know. And
She's
now
eating she's
now,
drinking
she must be
kombucha late
drinking
at
the
night.
now she's doing all caps. So now she means
angry.
business.
Yeah.
I will stop my flat Earth talk if someone can send me a goddamn photo of the horizon with a curvature. Otherwise, it is flat. Next one. I mean, you believe it just because NASA tells you so and takes fake CGI space pics? LMAO, LOLOL.
Oh, well, somebody who uses that many, what are those called?
I don't know, but I use those, so I can't really say anything.
Driver of the Sirius bus over there, ending her tweets with LOL.
And now she actually makes a little bit of sense.
Are these like all in sequence, like on the
they
same
were like all
day?
In sequence, I believe so. Now this one actually makes sense.
Sure.
I'm the only celebrity not afraid of the others, so I speak the truth. That's how I got killed in 2012 and became a clone.
Okay.
Yeah, Krista just gave a big eye roll on that one.
I just can't even like...
And the last tweet I got from her, if I get killed in 2016, you'll all know it's because I exposed the Earth as being flat. Or she didn't get killed, so...
Or she stuck her finger in a light socket because she's clearly a rocket scientist.
Yeah, so that's Tila. She's one of the big proponents of flat Earth
B.O.B.
stuff.
is probably reading these tweets and rolling his eyes. Like, will you stop talking now?
Yes.
People are going to think we're nuts.
Tila, bring it down a notch.
Yeah. Maybe step away from the social media for a little while.
But it could
read
be
a book.
Could be her clone because she was killed in 2012 and she was cloned.
She was murdered in 2012?
Yeah, she said that's how I got killed in 2012 and became a clone.
Because of the flat Earth theory?
Because the others.
The others.
Found out. I'm guessing that's the Illuminati, New World Order.
Okay.
Whatever. They killed her and cloned her for some reason. Which
maybe we could get her on our show for sure.
We probably could for a couple bucks. She can stay at my place. Give me a call.
Research
Tila.
that porn.
Give me a call, T. Give me a call, T.
I can't find any porn of you online. We should just make some.
Yeah. Anyway, it's online. Anyway, now we get into the actual flat Earth theory.
Okay.
This is what they believe.
Okay,
this is what they believe.
I'm ready.
The leading flat earther theory holds that Earth is a disk with the North Pole in the center, and that Antarctica is actually a 150-foot tall wall of ice around the entire edge of the flat Earth that holds in the water and prevents Earth inhabitants from leaving. So they say NASA employees guard this ice wall to prevent people from climbing over and falling off the edge.
Okay, do they believe in global warming? Because this ice thing is going to melt and we're all going to fall off the edge.
A lot of the stuff I looked at said for a visual of this, you have to imagine the Earth as a pizza. The North Pole would be the center of the pizza, and Antarctica would be the doughy crust.
Delicious.
I know, that made me hungry. I wasn't thinking flat Earth. I was thinking
Antarctica would
dominoes.
be the crust?
Antarctica would be the crust because it circles the entire... Antarctica, they say that Antarctica is actually just this wall of ice that circles the entire flat planet. Because whatever direction you go, you're going to run into these ice things, and you're going to think it's Antarctica because you're going to think no matter which way you go, that direction, you're going to be going south, that you're going to hit Antarctica. So Antarctica circles the entire Earth as an ice wall.
This
should have been a video podcast for the looks that Krista has given me on this stuff. I wish we had a video camera here for this.
I'm going to get a headache from rolling my eyes so hard.
Earth's day and night cycle is explained by reasoning that the sun and moon are spheres measuring 32 miles across that move in circles 3,000 miles above the plane of the Earth.
That's really specific.
Stars, they say, move in a plane 3,100 miles up. Earth's gravity is an illusion. Objects do not accelerate downward. Instead, the disk of Earth accelerates upwards at 32 feet per second squared, driven upwards by a mysterious force called dark energy or etheric wind.
So they think we're
on
always
a flat.
We're on an
always
elevator,
getting pushed up.
Always going
That's
up.
exactly what it is.
And that's why if you drop a feather,
See, that's a kimchi's kicking in.
a feather and a coin from the top of a huge. Okay.
Well, yeah. Because we are driven upwards by a mysterious force called dark energy or etheric wind. Okay. This force is called the universal accelerator, or UA for short. They also say that if Earth is hurtling through space, why doesn't the water in the ocean wobble? So there's that.
It doesn't wobble?
It doesn't wobble.
Oh my God.
Now, when we get to photos and videos and stuff like that, there are generally two beliefs. The first belief is actually on the Flat Earth Society's frequently asked questions page.
Ooh.
They say the most commonly accepted explanation of the photos from space is that the space agencies of the world are involved in a conspiracy faking space travel and exploration. This likely began during the Cold War's space race, in which the USSR and the USA were obsessed with beating each other into space to the point that they each faked their accomplishments in an attempt to keep pace with the other's achievements. Since the end of the Cold War, however, the conspiracy is most likely motivated by greed rather than political gains, and using only some of their funding to continue to fake space travel saves a lot of money for them to embezzle for themselves. Please note that we are not suggesting that space agencies are aware that the Earth is flat or actively covering the fact up. They depict the Earth as being round simply because that is what they expect it to be. So basically, the Flat Earth Society's beliefs is that
we've never
really left the planet because we faked the moon landing, and then Russians had to fake something better, so that we're constantly trying to outdo each other by faking this stuff. Other people believe that when Russia and the U.S. managed to get rockets into the sky, they realized their error and quickly set about protecting the shameful secret at all costs. Scientists knew that revealing that the Earth was flat would cause them to lose the science versus religion war, so scientists around the world agreed to keep the flat Earth secret. The Antarctic Treaty went into place in 1961, making it off limits to any wandering eyes. Flat Earthers believe photos of the globe are photoshopped. GPS devices are rigged to make airplane pilots think they are flying in straight lines around a sphere when they are actually flying in circles above a disk, and that when you are on an airplane, the horizon looks curved because the airplane windows are curved. Oh. So
it's just the most ridiculous logic I've ever heard.
NASA faking videos.
Okay.
Videos of spacewalks and astronauts in zero gravity are actually filmed in parabolic flight on steadily and rapidly descending airplanes, making it look like the astronauts are floating.
We have airplanes that do that?
Apparently.
Okay.
So they go way up, and then they drop down so fast that everything is weightless.
It's like a ride at Great America.
It is like that ride. So then they quickly record this, making it look like they're in space.
Wow, okay. Well, it's good to know we have that technology at least. Yeah. Good.
So yeah, there's that.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people think that NASA basically just exists to prevent people from accidentally wandering off the edge of the Earth.
They just shot a rocket off.
And supposedly, allegedly. And that they spend all their other time faking space pictures and whatnot.
How do I get in on that?
I don't know.
That sounds like a fun gig. Huh.
You know, a lot of the science versus religion stuff comes from the fact that the Bible mentions the four corners of the Earth. So a lot of people say that. I know.
I'm mad at everyone right now.
There's a lot of variations in the theories. Some flat earthers believe that instead of an ice wall around the Earth, there is a teleportation field that when you enter it, it beams you to the other side, making it appear like you just went in a circle around a spherical planet.
Sure.
In that case, aliens put it up.
Well, yeah. So do they believe in aliens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they don't know what created this. Now we get into some weird stuff.
Oh, now we're going to get to the weird stuff? Okay.
A lot of flat earthers believe that the flat Earth is surrounded by an invisible dome-like barrier called the firmament, which was mentioned in the Bible.
Okay.
The firmament that serves both to protect us and to hide the true nature of the heavens. This firmament is what the sun and moon are attached to on tracks that go around the dome, and the stars are actually the light of heaven coming through small pinpoint openings in the dome. Other people believe that the dome has holographic images beamed onto it of clouds, the stars, the sun and moon, and other things we see in the sky. There are several videos on YouTube that seem to show the moon glitching, which flat earthers say is proof that the moon is actually a holographic image. Or it could be proof of that we're living in a computer simulation.
That's more likely to me than the flat earth theory.
But yeah, they said that there's tracks on the dome that the sun and moon are on. And one interesting thing I read was that because of the way the tracks are positioned, occasionally the sun and the moon come so close to each other that the power that it takes to generate them causes it to short circuit, which causes the eclipse. So,
I feel like good old science explains eclipses, not this weird, complicated, illogical.
Yeah. Some people, some accounts I've read said that the sky is blue because what's on the other side of the dome is water. So we're basically underwater in a snow globe. That's what it sounds like. Like a lot of this dome stuff makes it sound like we live in a snow globe.
Interesting.
Yeah. But they said, yeah, there's tracks. Sun and moon go around on
So
tracks.
what happens when it rains? If we're
I don't know.
Somebody pokes some holes in the ceiling and...
Well, no, that's what the stars are, holes in the dome.
Oh.
And that's supposedly the light of heaven shining through.
Oh, but there is a heaven.
There's a heaven.
Okay.
Yeah. And people theorize about what's on the other end of the ice wall, that they don't know if there are other civilizations or if there is nothing or if the ice wall just goes on. Some people say that there is like a secret something hidden in the ice wall, and that's what NASA is doing, is stopping people from finding this secret something that is like buried in the ice wall that surrounds the Earth.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's some of the theories that the flat earthers believe in. I originally, I heard about the Flat Earth Society way back, I want to say in the 80s.
Oh, really?
And I assumed that it was just like a bunch of people getting together for a laugh, that it was like trolling, like just pretending, yeah, we believe, it was like a drinking group that they would get together and do this.
Instead of playing like D&D, they would
get together and joke about the Earth being flat, but apparently it's a real thing.
I mean, this reminds me of like what I talked about before, the Heaven's Gate. They believed that the Hale-Bopp comet was coming and that there was an alien spacecraft riding on its tail that was coming to take them out of their bodies. And like, they believed so many weird and strange. It's just so...
But it's amazing.
It's like a cult.
It's amazing how you can get other people to believe in the weird things that you believe in.
I guess if you're really enthusiastic about something.
This came up at work because one of the guys at work that I talked to listened to a couple of our episodes, and he said you guys should do one on flat Earth because somebody at work believes that, and we're kind of convincing him of that.
Was convincing the guy that told you that we should talk about it?
Yeah, that wanted us to talk about the flat Earth.
Okay, listen, mister.
Yeah, it's...
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
I don't get it, I guess.
It just doesn't... If I go far enough north, I'm just going to fall off the Earth.
No,
if I can get past the ice wall.
You'd have to get past the ice wall because you go far enough north, and the center of the circle is the North Pole. That's where the North Pole is. And then you would keep going, thinking that you were going, to the South Pole or Antarctica, but you would really just be hitting the wall or the teleporter that would teleport you somehow to the other side of the planet. Not the planet, so the other side of the Earth, the flat Earth.
Sure.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Flat Earth, yay or nay?
No, nay. Nay? Nay.
Okay.
Are you in on it?
I went into this thinking that the Earth was round, and after listening to all this stuff, I think the Earth is even rounder than I originally thought.
Way rounder.
It is not flat. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
There's no compelling
No.
evidence or logic behind any of that.
No.
None of it.
And here we have 5 reasons why the Earth is round.
Okay, let's hear them.
Number 1, and this is the very first one that popped into my mind, because I used to live in an apartment, on Memorial Drive in Manitowoc, where the lake is right there.
Yep.
Reason number 1, looking out at the ocean or lakes, approaching ships do not just appear on the horizon. They seem to emerge from beneath the water. The reason ships appear as if they emerge from the waves is because the world is not flat, it's round. Because when the car ferry would come over from Michigan, a lot of times I would just see the very tip of the smokestack of the car ferry.
Right.
You don't
People who
just
don't
see
know
the
Lake
ship.
Michigan,
You see
it's a huge lake.
It is. And you see sometimes I would just see the very tip of the smokestack of the car ferry with the smoke coming out of it. Because because the Earth is curved, so it's dipped down from your level. So you're going to see it slowly pop up.
Right.
That was the very first thing that popped in my head whenever anybody brings up the flat Earth
That
stuff.
makes so much sense. And so people, if you're not from Wisconsin, you need to Google Lake Michigan, because it's not one of those lakes that you can just take a boat across.
No.
And you cannot see the other side.
No, it is.
It's like an inland sea. It's huge.
It is huge. So if you see a ship coming in, you're going to see it gradually come up, not straight on.
Okay.
Reason number 2, if you place a stick in the ground, it will produce a shadow. That's like a sundial. You know what I'm saying? Like how a sundial uses the shadow's movements to tell the time. If the world was flat, 2 sticks in 2 different locations would produce the same length shadow, but because the Earth is round, sticks placed at 2 distant locations will throw shadows of different lengths.
And it'll move.
Yes. In 276 BC, a Greek mathematician named Eratosthenes used this method to become the first person to estimate the circumference of the Earth. And you have some of the stuff.
People.
When I was looking this up, they had like really neat little illustrations about how this works.
Okay. You should post some links.
I should. That if, somebody 150, 200 miles away from us puts a stick in the ground, it's going to be slightly longer because the Earth has curved, casting a longer shadow. Reason number 3, the existence of time zones. If the sun was a spotlight, very directionally located so that the light only shines on a specific location,
shining straight down, like Tila Tequila said.
Which is what the flat earthers believe, that the sun is basically a spotlight that shines. If the sun was a spotlight directionally located so the light only shines on a specific location and the world was flat, we would see the sun even if it didn't shine directly on us. Much like we can see a spotlight from a darkened seat in a theater, we would be able to see the sun even if it wasn't pointing at us.
So their explanation is that it's a spotlight that just moves?
That the sun moves over different parts of the flat earth.
Okay.
Reason number 4, you can see farther if you go higher. If the Earth was flat, you'd be able to see the same distance no matter your elevation. Think about it. Your eye can detect a bright object like the moon from 240,000 miles away. Seeing the lights of Miami from New York City, which is only a mere 1,094 miles away, on a clear evening should be easy. But you can't, because the curvature of the Earth limits our sight to about 3.1 miles, unless you climb up a tall tree, building, or mountain and get a perspective from higher up. Which makes sense.
That's actually really
good.
Logical. Yeah.
And they had a neat little diagram for that, how that works.
Okay. Take that, flat earthers.
And the last one, I admit that I spent a lot of time watching these things on YouTube because I thought they were fascinating. It's something called, I believe it's Fucose Pendulum. It's like a French, it looks like Foucault.
Okay.
But I think I saw it pronounced Fucose.
Okay.
So we're going to go with Fucose Pendulum. I actually remember seeing one of these. I think it was in the Chicago Museum when I was a kid.
Okay.
So what this is, it's a big metal ball with a pin on the bottom suspended on a string over something that looks like the Wheel of Fortune wheel.
Okay.
Like a big wheel
with
a big metal ball with a pin on the bottom. The wheel has sand on it. You smooth out the sand and you swing the pendulum. If you come back in an hour, when you swing the pendulum, it starts making a line in the sand.
Yeah.
If you come back in an hour, you'll see that the newest line intersects the original line because the Earth is rotating. The pendulum's still going in the same direction it was going in. And because the Earth is rotating, it's putting a new line in the sand.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I kind of do, yeah. Yeah.
So think of the pendulum as hanging. The pendulum is fixed in
To
a
something
way
else?
in a way that it doesn't spin with
Okay.
everything else.
Yeah.
So you get
that
it going
makes
in a
sense.
straight line back and forth, and it keeps going in this line.
But everything else is moving.
The planet is rotating, so the line keeps moving a little bit, and you're going to eventually end up with all these lines.
like a starburst.
Yeah, like a starburst pattern. So that is proof that the Earth is rotating, which, unless the flat Earth is actually spinning too, but I haven't seen anything that said these
wouldn't
people
make
believe
sense.
that they don't believe that the flat Earth is actually spinning. But
They just think we're
the Fucose
on an
pendulum,
elevator.
There's a lot of videos on YouTube of the pendulum working, and it was like actually really kind of fascinating to watch that.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. So they said that's proof that the Earth is rotating, which kind of blows the whole flat Earth thing out of the water.
I think the most compelling out of all of those is the ship.
Yeah, the ship. Because
And the why can't we can see the moon
Yep.
from, like you said,
Yeah.
however far away.
the
but we
ship one
can't
is the one that
see-
like anybody near a body of water can go see, provided that the body of water is big enough.
Right.
You know, like Lake Winnebago, you can see
The other side.
over that.
Yeah.
It's not going to really be like that. If a boat's coming across on there, you're going to see it like it's coming straight at you.
You probably saw it leave its dock.
But if you look at Lake Michigan, when the car ferry is coming in, you're just going to see the top of the boat, and you're going to see the boat gradually pop up because of the curve of the Earth. So there you go. The Earth is not flat.
Definitely curvy.
It is definitely curvy. So,
It's voluptuous.
so we do have a voluptuous Earth. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I mean,
I hope we didn't burst anybody's bubble that believes the flat Earth stuff.
we didn't burst any burbles.
No, it's just, I mean, I was reading this stuff and I am going, what the hell? I buy a lot of conspiracy theories that are so crazy I don't even tell anybody about some of them.
Really?
But this one, I just cannot wrap my mind around why
It
somebody.
doesn't make any sense.
I don't know if it's you know, like the alien stuff in the 80s and 90s and all that. I don't know if it's just like mistrust of the government, and this is a way to focus your mistrust of the government on something that you just believe we're not being told the truth.
These people went down the rabbit hole, and they shouldn't have.
Yeah, and say that the Earth really is flat. Why would they carry on for this long? Why wouldn't they just
What's
say
the purpose?
I don't know. Some people believe the purpose is that they're getting funded, like NASA's getting funded, that they're pocketing the money that they
For
don't spend
what?
on making.
But why?
I don't know.
What's the purpose?
I don't
There's
know. I don't know. I mean, you would think at
makes
some
sense.
point NASA and the government would just be like, hey, guess what?
Psych.
Earth is flat. Suck it up. Deal with it.
Right.
You know, but no. So that's what these people think.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There was a video once, a guy who, what did he go up on? Was it like a balloon or something? And he actually parachuted from space. Did you see that? It was like televised.
No, I didn't.
Like they
I know what you're
videotaped him
talking
going.
about.
It was terrifying to watch.
I was thinking about
He literally jumped out of whatever he was traveling in. I can't remember how he got up there with a parachute and fell back to Earth from space. It was crazy.
I think I remember hearing about it, but I did not see the video.
Well, the Earth was definitely round
Well,
in that video. I don't know why that
our-
guy would fake that. He wasn't like out to prove anything. He was doing the parachuting thing to break a record or something.
Our Canadian listener, Sarah, her and I were talking
one
or
Canadian
messaging.
listener.
Our one Canadian. Thanks, Sarah. Her and I were messaging on Facebook this morning talking about this, and she sent me a video with a guy holding a little balloon in a glass of water, and he poured the water over the balloon, and it all splashed off. Then he said, "How could there be flooding in Texas and other places when the water pours off the balloon if the Earth was round?" It's the same reason. It's like, why don't the oceans wobble?
Gravity
Yeah. But no, gravity is us being pushed upwards
on an elevator.
constantly.
On an elevator.
Yeah. But yeah, there's
Looney Tunes. I'm sorry. It just.
there's so many videos on YouTube of people trying to prove that the Earth is flat.
Wow.
There are so many sites promoting this, and there's so many science sites
Really?
shooting it down.
Oh, shooting it down. Okay, good. There's no science to back any of this up.
But yeah, they think that that the pictures from space are faked, and they tie that into the whole moon landing hoax, with the pictures of stuff that's not supposed to be there. So they say that's further proof that the moon landing was faked, because the moon is actually just 32 miles across and it's up on its track. So
That's
yeah,
just
otherwise,
nuts. It's
otherwise
like a huge mobile,
yeah,
like
otherwise this
babies
stuff-
have over their
yeah,
cribs.
That's basically what it is. Some people argue whether these tracks are invisible or whether the tracks are there and we can't see them. But I just get a kick out of when the 32 mile across sun and moon get too close, their electronics cause it to short circuit, and that's what the eclipse is.
Well, it only happens what? Well, this last eclipse we had it won't happen again for. That's the thing. We can predict it though. You can't predict when circuits are. Oh, whatever.
You're over it, aren't you?
Worth it.
You're over it.
I can't waste my breath on it anymore.
No, they just. I was reading that they just had their first ever international meeting of the Flat Earth Society. I think it was in Atlanta, Georgia, and they said 500 people showed up.
International,
and 500 people showed up. Yeah. Wow. So.
Well, hey, they're growing 200 people per year.
But there's a podcast that Jamie told me about. I think it was called Oh No, It's Ross and Carrie. Yeah, it's called Oh No, It's Ross and Carrie. And what they do on the podcast, they find all these fringe groups, and they actually join them for a little while and then come back to the podcast.
Amazing.
And they had I think 2 episodes talking about that they went to this meeting with the flat earth people.
Oh, we have to listen to that.
And then the people would come up and say, "So when did you finally wake up to the truth?" And they ordered pizza and thought it was funny that they ordered pizza because that's basically what Earth is. And
that's great.
They said, so there was no arguing with some of these people because.
Oh, when they are in.
Yeah, it would just get to the point where they'd be just answer with "Oh, that's just the way it is."
Oh boy.
I
feel like that's what religion is too.
Yeah, and I guess they said
God's will.
Somebody they talked to, their brother-in-law or something like that, actually worked at NASA. And it's could you imagine that poor bastard?
Man.
What that's like when
he hates family gatherings and holidays.
Together with them. So there you have it, folks.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think.
Unless you're into the flat Earth thing.
If you're into flat Earth,
just prepare to be mocked or something. Yeah. Because come on.
I mean, I get it. I get why you think.
I don't.
I get why you think that we'd be
nice.
lied to. I guess.
Sure, because our government probably lies to us all the time.
They probably lie to us about a lot of stuff.
Sure.
But I don't think
this is just a weird.
I don't think the Earth is one of them.
There's just no solid evidence.
No. So let us know what you think.
Keep your hate mail to a minimum.
Yeah. I wonder if we do have anybody listening that.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. There's just too much evidence that it is round.
Yes, absolutely. It's called science.
Strange Sessions. We're gonna fund our own rocket. Go up there and.
I'm afraid of heights.
I'll
watch you.
We'll get somebody.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it.
Joel will do it.
Joel
definitely do it.
Get back to us. We're gonna send you up there.
Yeah.
Take a couple selfies with your phone. Show us the curvature of the Earth, and then we'll be good.
Fall back down.
And then people will say we faked it.
Yeah. It'll all be worthless and pointless.
So there you go, folks. There is the flat Earth.
Air quotes.
Tila, give me a call. We got to talk.
You do a little research on that porn and get back to us.
I am going to research that like crazy when I get home. So our next episode, do we usually say what our next episode is going to be?
I think so.
I don't think we do. I think we usually just post it.
Okay.
So
I don't even know what it is. So
we're contemplating doing something for when we get to our 5th one, because everybody seemed to like that teaser picture we had of the episodes, what they were going to be about.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking about doing that again when we get to our 5th episode.
Yeah.
To have our next 5 episode topics and to have it partially covered. And I'm thinking about doing a thing where the first person to correctly guess all 5 topics is going to get a $25 Amazon code.
Ooh, he upped it to 25.
It was 20 when we talked before. I don't know if they sell them at 20. It'll be either
I feel 20, like you could do whatever you want.
It'll be either 20 or 25, but we're going to give the first person to correctly identify all 5 topics $25 Amazon code that you can put into your little Amazon account
and buy a book on flat Earth theory.
I was up to, because I was doing all those survey sites and everything. Yeah. I was up to $170 in my Amazon, but it dropped a ton because I bought the 2 seasons of The Americans that I've been watching.
You know it's on Netflix, right?
No, it is not on Netflix.
They take it off?
They took it off Netflix. And I thought about doing Amazon Prime, but I don't order enough stuff off Amazon.
You know what else you get, though?
I know. You get Amazon Music.
Because I can download a ton of music on my phone for free.
Yeah, you get the Amazon Kindle. You can borrow books but I don't
Even
really,
if you just order one thing, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
I can't read books on my phone or on a Kindle.
No, me neither, but
I have to literally hold
Me too.
a book.
I just ordered the new, one of the new Dean Koontz books and my lovely new backpack here, and I got free shipping for both, and you can watch TV on
I just
Amazon
checked out a
Prime.
book from the library on our next topic, so I will be researching that. And then I got the trivia contest coming up. So we will be back. Oh, also, we're going to probably change the time that we release the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We're probably going to shoot for Sunday evenings because my work hours changed.
How do you like it now?
Oh, my God. I love it.
So much better.
I only did it Monday. Monday was my first time, but my hours changed from working to 11 at night to now I work 3 days a week. I work Saturday, Sunday, and Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and getting done at 7 p.m. is making all the difference in the world because I am not a night person. Once it gets to be 8 o'clock, I get cranky. I want my PJs on.
Right.
You know, I don't want to be at work. So it's because for some reason I wake up early every day, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yep. I can go to bed. When we used to do ghost hunts, I would go to bed at 3 o'clock, 3:30 sometimes. I'd be up at 7, and I cannot.
I'm the same way.
I cannot sleep later than that. But this way, I can go to bed earlier if I'm tired, and that's making a huge difference.
Oh, good.
I feel better, and I love it. So they're probably going to end up changing it back to the way it was before, just to piss me off.
Jerks.
But yeah, we'll post some of the.
But this will work better for your schedule to release it Sunday night.
Yeah, because I'm going to get home from work Sunday night at 7, so then I'll release the podcast on YouTube, and now I'll release it in iTunes now that I know how to do it, and it's painfully easy, just like you told me it was. So we'll do that Sunday nights. So hopefully that works good. Monday mornings, you guys can listen to it on your commute or whatever you want to do.
And now that Kurt is doing it, he doesn't have to deal with my weird computer glitches and technical difficulties. So
putting out the unedited.
Yeah. I'd like to think of that as a bonus.
Yeah, that should have been for our Patreon listeners.
Right. I don't think we're on Patreon.
I don't think we are either.
One of us would know if we were.
Yeah, maybe we are, and we don't even know. But anyway, thank you for spending your time listening to us. Hopefully you found this as enjoyable as we did.
And absurd, but whatever.
Absurd. That's a good word, too. So we will be back soon with another episode. So if you really believe the earth is flat, get to us and we'll talk you down.
Yeah.
So until next time, stay strange.
This has been an Old School Media production, executive produced by Kurt Konechny. For more information and content, please visit strangesessions.com.